Section 7C, Inspector General Complaints Program. Program Policy and Mission Focus. The Air Force Inspector General Complaints Program is a leadership tool that indicates where command involvement is needed to correct systematic, programmatic, or procedural weaknesses. The program also ensures effective and efficient use of resources, resolves problems affecting the Air Force mission promptly and objectively, creates an atmosphere of trust in which issues can be objectively and fully resolved without retaliation or fear of reprisal, and assists commanders in instilling confidence in Air Force leadership. The primary charge of the Inspector General is to sustain a credible Air Force Inspector General system by ensuring the existence of responsive complaint investigations and fraud, waste, and abuse programs characterized by objectivity, integrity, and impartiality. Only the Inspector General may investigate allegations of reprisal and restriction under the Military Whistleblowers Protection Act. The Inspector General ensures the concerns of regular Air Force, Reserve, and Guard members, civilian employees, family members, retirees, and the best interests of the Air Force are addressed through objective fact-finding. Installation Inspector General Program. The concept of separate, full-time installation inspectors general was implemented to remove any perceived conflict of interest, lack of independence, or apprehension by Air Force personnel. This came as a result of the previous practice of assigning a chain of command and inspector general roles to the same official. The installation inspector general is organized as a staff function reporting directly to the installation commander. Inspector General Role. Inspectors General are the eyes and ears of the commander. They execute the commander's inspection program, validating and verifying unit self-assessments and providing the commander an independent assessment of unit effectiveness. 1. They inform the commander of potential areas of concern as reflected by trends. 2. Function as the fact-finder and honest broker in the resolution of complaints. 3. Educate and train commanders and members of the base population on their rights and responsibilities in regard to the Air Force Inspector General system. And 4. Help commanders prevent, detect, and correct fraud, waste, and abuse, and mismanagement. Personal complaints and fraud, waste, and abuse disclosures help commanders discover and correct problems that affect the productivity and morale of assigned personnel. Resolving the underlying cause of a complaint may prevent more severe symptoms or costly consequences, such as reduced performance, accidents, poor quality work, poor morale, or loss of resources. Even though allegations may not be substantiated, the evidence or investigation findings may reveal systematic morale or other problems that impede efficiency and mission effectiveness. Investigations not covered in complaints not appropriate. The following are not covered under the Inspector General Complaint Resolution Program: administrative inquiries or investigations governed by other policy directives and instructions. These inquiries and investigations include Commander-Directed Inquiries and Investigations, Air Force Office of Special Investigations or Security Forces Investigations, investigations of civilian employees who have specific appeal rights under law or labor union agreements, investigations under the authority of the Uniform Code of Military Justice, UCMJ, or the Manual for Court-Martial, line of duty or report of survey investigations, quality assurance in the Air Force Medical Service Boards, Air Force mishap or safety investigations, military equal opportunity treatment or civilian equal employment opportunity programs, and medical incident investigations. Matters normally addressed through other established grievance or appeal channels unless there is evidence these channels mishandled the matter or process. If a policy directive or instruction provides a specific means of redress or appeal to a grievance, complainants must exhaust these means before filing an Inspector General complaint. Complainants must provide some relevant evidence that the process was mishandled or handled prejudicially before an Inspector General channel will process a complaint of mishandling. Dissatisfaction or disagreement with the outcome or findings of an alternative grievance or appeal process is not a sufficient basis to warrant an Inspector General investigation. Note: AFI 90-301 Inspector General Complaints Resolution, Table 3.6 assists Inspectors General in determining if a complaint belongs in other channels. Filing an Inspector General complaint. Air Force military members and civilian employees have a duty to promptly report fraud, waste, and abuse or gross mismanagement, a violation of law, policy, procedures, or regulations, an injustice, abuse of authority, inappropriate conduct or misconduct, and a deficiency or like condition to an appropriate supervisor or commander, to an inspector general or other appropriate inspector, or through an established grievance channel. Complainants should attempt to resolve the issues at the lowest possible level using command channels before addressing them to a higher level or the inspector general. The immediate supervisory command chain can often resolve complaints more quickly and effectively than a higher level not familiar with the situation. Use the inspector general system when referral to the chain of command is futile and there is fear of reprisal. Procedures for filing a complaint. Table 7.1 outlines the procedures for filing an Inspector General complaint. Complainants complete an Air Force Form 102, Inspector General Personal and Fraud, Waste, and Abuse Complaint Registration, briefly outlining the facts and relevant background information related to the issue or complaint. AFI 90-301 outlines the procedures complainants may also file anonymously through an Air Force Fraud, Waste, and Abuse hotline, the Defense Hotline, or directly with an Inspector General. Complainants' rights. Complainants have the right to file an Inspector General complaint at any level without notifying or following the chain of command. File a complaint with an Inspector General without fear of reprisal. Request withdrawal of their complaint in writing. However, Inspectors General may still look into the allegations at their discretion. Request the next higher level Inspector General review their case within 90 days of receiving a final Inspector General response. Must give specific reasons as to why the complainant believes the original investigation was not valid or adequate. Simply disagreeing with the findings is not sufficient for an additional Inspector General review. Submit complaints anonymously. Submit a complaint on behalf of another individual or even when not the wronged party. Request whistleblower protection after making or planning to make a protected communication. Reprisal occurs when a responsible management official takes or threatens to take an unfavorable personnel action or withholds or threatens to withhold a favorable personnel action to retaliate against a member of the armed forces who made or prepared to make a protected communication. Any lawful communication, regardless of the subject, to an Inspector General or Congress is considered protected. Additionally, this type of communication is protected when a member who reasonably believes he/she has evidence of a violation of law or regulation, regardless of whether he/she is the victim, discloses this to an authorized recipient in the form of a lawful communication. Title 10, United States Code Section 1034, Protected Communications, Prohibition of Retaliatory Personnel Actions, also states that a military member may not be restricted or prohibited from making a lawful communication to the Inspector General or a member of Congress, for example, making a protected communication. Restriction can result from either private or public statements that may reasonably discourage Air Force members from contacting the Inspector General or a member of Congress. For example, a first sergeant who directs a member to stay within his chain of command because the member told his supervisor he was going to complain to his congressman about an upcoming deployment has probably restricted. The Department of Defense Inspector General provides a quarterly report to Congress detailing the service's Inspector General allegations of reprisal and restricted, if substantiated, amounts to a violation of federal law. In the Air Force, most allegations in these areas are against first sergeants and senior enlisted personnel. Complainants' responsibilities. Complainants must file within 1 year of learning of the alleged wrong. Inspector General complaints not reported within 1 year may seriously impede the gathering of evidence and testimony. The Inspector General may dismiss a complaint if, given the nature of the alleged wrong and the passage of time, there is reasonable probability that insufficient information can be gathered to make a determination, or no special Air Force interests exist to justify investigating the matter. Complainants must cooperate with investigators by providing factual and relevant information regarding the issues. Complainants must understand that they are submitting official statements. Therefore, they remain subject to punitive action for knowingly making false statements and submitting other unlawful communications. Confidentiality policy. The Inspector General makes every effort to protect the identity of complainants from anyone outside Inspector General channels. Inspectors General may release the name of a complainant only on an official need-to-know basis. Investigating officers do not divulge a complainant's name to a subject or witness or permit them to read the complaint without the Inspectors General or appointing authorities' written permission.